Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning into this presentation all about Riverside Luxury Cruises. Thank you to Baxter for hosting us today, and I also want to thank you to everyone that's registered and that submitted your questions. What I really wanted to do with this session is to really address the questions, the comments, the things that matter most to you, all of you, about Riverside. What you want to know about Riverside. We're just a week away from starting our fourth season on the European rivers. So I felt like really wanting to just get you prepared, ready to sell, present, introduce Riverside to all of your clients. So thank you for taking the time to send those questions in. They're all great questions, and I look forward to answering them. But before we get to those questions, I wanted to start off with a little bit of background on Riverside. I know many of you have maybe attended a presentation from me before. Some of you may have already sold Riverside, done our training, or are following along our journey. But as a still relatively new brand to the market, it's important to reiterate our background, our origin story, and for you all to know about the key differences in our approach to the river cruise experience, so that you can successfully present it to your clients. So I'll go over my presentation, and I hope that through that you are reinvigorated in introducing us to your clients. But let's start off first with a little bit of background. So many of you probably already know. I know there's many that have signed on that this is going to be the first time that you're hearing about Riverside. But as a brand, Riverside was established in the fall of 2022 by the European-based family-owned luxury hotel group called Seaside Collection, which acquired the luxury river ships that were previously owned by Crystal Cruises. Now, let me tell you, Crystal Cruises, they built these ships to be absolutely stunning. They were designed, they were built to embody the essence of boutique luxury hotels, and are now under the stewardship of a prestigious luxury hotel company with more than 50 years of experience in European hospitality. And through that deep-rooted hotel heritage, we are redefining the river cruise experience by bringing the same philosophy and standards of our luxury hotels to the rivers of Europe. So the result is an experience that feels less like a traditional, structured, and communal river cruise, and more like checking into an intimate 5-star luxury hotel. One that is very personal, exceptionally refined, and just very different. Because let's face it, if there's going to be a new brand in a very congested and saturated space, such as the river cruise market is, with so many great suppliers that you're already working with, let's bring in something new for you all to offer your clients. And that's where we come in. So as I take you through my presentation, that's how I'd like for you all to think of us as, and more importantly, to position us to your clients as a luxury hotel experience on the rivers. In April 2023, so only 6 months after Seaside Collection acquired the ships, the first one, renowned as the Queen of the Danube, set sail again, now reborn as the Riverside Mozart. You see what I mean? A boutique luxury hotel that just so happens to be on the river. You take the Mozart off the river, put it on land, and you go inside and you feel like you're in this, as I said, a very intimate, luxurious 5-star hotel. We've been sailing with the Riverside Mozart on the Danube since April of 2023. And what you can see from this slide and from the video that I showed is that the Mozart, it's a pretty big river vessel. In fact, it's 75 feet wide compared to the standard 36 feet. So it's literally 2 ships next to each other. However, it accommodates only 162 guests. That is as many guests as other river cruise brands will have. Actually, it's even fewer than most, and it's double their ship size, which is what allows the Mozart to have much larger suites, 5 restaurants, multiple lounges, including the Connoisseur's Cigar Lounge, a full-size spa, and amenities that other ships just don't have the size for. Because of its size, the Mozart sails only on the Danube, primarily between Budapest and Passau. That same year, over the summer, we started our river cruise program in the south of France on the Rhone River with the Riverside Ravel. And in 2024, we celebrated the christening of our 3rd ship, the Riverside Debussy, which sails everywhere else that the Mozart can't. So just next week, the Debussy will start to sail through the Netherlands and Belgium during the tulip time season, after which it will shift over to the traditional Rhine route between Amsterdam and Basel. Then it will move over to the Moselle, the Main, and the Danube River, almost all the way to Bucharest. And then it will turn back and make its way back to Amsterdam. Both ships, the Ravel and the Debussy, which you just saw here, both ships are identical to each other. They're half the size of the Mozart, and so therefore comparable in their size only to other river vessels, but they can accommodate a maximum of 110 guests, which is up to 80 fewer guests than other river ships. Now think about that. It's the same size ship, but with up to 80 fewer guests or 40 fewer rooms, which is what allows these ships, even though they're not as big as the Mozart, because they accommodate so many fewer people, it's what allows them to also have much larger suites, multiple restaurants and lounges, and amenities other ships don't have the space for. Because our ships accommodate fewer guests, they have the largest suites on the rivers, starting from 200 square feet to over 880 square feet, every one of which has a king-size bed, many of which face the beautiful scenery through floor-to-ceiling wall-to-wall French balconies, and others with windows like you see here that open from the top halfway down. We have fewer guests and we have more staff. In fact, we have a 1-to-1 staff-to-suite ratio, and we offer European butler service to every guest on board. From a culinary perspective, our ships have multiple restaurants and opportunities to dine anytime, including 24-hour complimentary room service. Now, for anyone that's been on a river cruise or has had clients go on one, and I know many of you have had, you know that that is not the norm. We offer the best cuisine and are placing an emphasis on the freshness and quality of ingredients on board for the most memorable dining experience on the rivers. Our ships, one of the many reasons why our owners loved them and wanted them was because they were built with larger galleys. larger galleys with more stations inside. We have more chefs, and I mean exceptional chefs who've worked at multi-Michelin starred restaurants. We cook every dish on demand 24 hours a day with a budget that is incomparably higher to anyone else. We're also unique in that our menus, they're not dictated by a corporate office. Each ship operates completely autonomously with its own executive chef, like Chef Benoit here in the south of France on the Riverside Ravel. And Chef Benoit is in charge of creating his menu for his restaurant on his ship. The only corporate instructions for our chefs are to create dishes that are inspired by the landscape and the region through which we're sailing. And more importantly, that they're sourcing fresh local ingredients like you see Chef Dragos doing here. There is nothing that comes on the ship that is frozen or has been pre-prepared. And I mean nothing. Meats and seafood are obvious items, but even the bread, every delicate bread roll, every crusty baguette, every slice of bread has been handcrafted from scratch and baked early each morning by our pastry chef and team. Our pasta, we're not buying it at the store and bringing it onto the ship. We're making fresh pasta twice daily. Our sous chef is in charge of that. I kid you not. But from the jams that we serve at breakfast each morning to the butter at dinner and everything in between, everything is prepared and cooked on board and a la minute, as you would expect when going to a fine dining restaurant in the city. We also have the largest wine cellars on the rivers, rivaling those of even the finest restaurants on land. Every ship has an atelier offering all-day food options. So this is where our guests can enjoy late breakfast or a secondary breakfast for that matter from a different a la carte menu, as well as an incredible spread of food that changes as the day turns to night. All kinds of fresh-made pastries, tarts, and delicious desserts, tapa-sized breakfast and lunch plates that our guests can just help themselves to throughout the day. We've got beautiful flatbreads, pizzas, and just so much tempting food. And then, of course, there's those irresistible bubble waffles that you see being made here. And let me tell you, when you're walking through the atelier, which you kind of have to, if you want to get to the lounges, you have to walk through the atelier. If you wanted to go to your suites, you have to walk through the atelier. It's a pretty central space on our luxurious floating hotels. And when someone has ordered one of these bubble waffles with that scent in the air, oh, it is just irresistible. We have our own ice cream station there. We make our own gelato. And then as the day turns to night, we'll start to bring out cheese and charcuterie boards, pretzels. During cocktail hours, we'll start popping fresh popcorn. We have one of those vintage theater popcorn machine makers. So there's another irresistible scent in the air to accompany a great cocktail with beautiful lounge music playing in the background. On some evenings, the atelier will host an intimate dining experience where regionally inspired seasonal dishes featuring very rich and hearty plates that our chefs will say are all inspired by their upbringing, by their moms and grandmas cooking. And all of those are served family style. There's a menu of 12 small plates, 12 larger plates, all intended again to be shared family style. A beautiful taste of the region through which we're sailing. On each ship, we also have a private dining room where we host the vintage room experience for up to 12 guests. So here, our executive chef alongside our sommelier, which, by the way, every ship has its own professionally trained sommelier, and on every sailing for that matter. But together, the executive chef, the sommelier, they will lead diners through 7 exquisite courses, each one very thoughtfully paired with an exceptional fine wine that our sommeliers are getting from deep within the cellars. And I mean, the sommeliers are going straight to the back of the cellars for these bottles of wine. The Vintage Room is the only restaurant that has to be requested and will only be confirmed for your clients when they're on board, because we need to have a minimum of 6 guests in order to host the Vintage Room experience. And this is also the only restaurant where there is a surcharge for. Okay, this coming season, besides the dinner experience, which is again 7 courses, we're also going to be offering a lighter lunch option, which will consist of 4 courses paired with 4 wines. And in both cases, your clients will also have the option to experience the food without the wine. If they don't like wine or they don't want to pay for the wines, they just want the food, then they'll have that option as well. Now, this is my favorite part of our ships, the Vista Lounge on the Vista deck on the rooftop. Up here, you have the feeling of being at a very trendy hotel rooftop lounge. Think Miami vibes with European landscapes and views. You've got gorgeous scenery all around as you're sailing along Europe's most iconic rivers. We've installed a music system, so there's music playing in the background. We have a full-service pop-up bar that's mixing up some incredible cocktails. Just gives off an effortlessly cool and relaxed vibe as you're sailing along. This is also where we set up our incredible barbecue lunches and dinners that have become a hallmark of the Riverside experience. On those big green egg grills, we've got full whole lobsters next to tomahawks and ribeyes, the biggest tiger prawns you'll ever eat in your lives. We've got trays of oysters on the half shell, an abundance of delicious side dishes, all kinds of freshly baked warm breads. There's so much great food, not to mention free-flowing champagne. And I mean the real champagne. Tattinger Champagne is our house brand. We've got all kinds of cocktails being mixed up and all kinds of other drinks as well. Depending on the itinerary and where we're at, and if we can bring on board musicians, we'll do that as well. So your clients are enjoying an alfresco barbecue, maybe at lunchtime, maybe at dinner, with live music, gorgeous scenery. It's a fantastic experience. Heading back inside, the ships all have an indoor swimming pool, a fitness center, and a spa. Now, the Mozart, being twice as big, has a bigger swimming pool as well as a separate jacuzzi, saunas, steam rooms, treatment rooms, a very therapeutic relaxation lounge that overlooks the calming views of the ship's wake, as well as a full-service hair and nail salon. It is a full-size spa that is only available on the Mozart and along the Danube River. As far as the spa technicians, masters of their trade. They've been cross-trained by our hotels in the Canary Islands and in the Maldives. And you won't see them anywhere else around the ship doing anything else. They are there specifically for the spa services that your clients and the treatments that your clients will be booking and receiving. And the same is true for everyone else on board, from the bartenders to the butlers. Many of our staff have come back to us from their days with Crystal. So really experts in delivering a very elevated level of hospitality. But a lot of new people have come in, and those people, those team members have not come from other river cruise brands necessarily, but from hotels and from other hospitality businesses that deliver a different level, a different guest experience for everyone on board. Coming off the ships, and as for where we sail, we are on the main leisure cruising rivers of Europe. So those being the Danube, the Rhine, the Main River through central Germany, the Moselle, and in the south of France on the Rhone and Saône rivers. Our itineraries and the way that they're created are unique to others in that ours are modular, where shorter 3, 4, 5 night cruises combine or can be extended to make longer 7, 8, 10, 11, 14, up to 20 night cruises. And therefore, at every major river cruise port, we'll have guests that we'll have some guests that are checking in, others that are checking out, and others that are staying on board because their experience and journey with us continues. And so just like a hotel, we'll have revolving guests and an international mix of diverse guests from all over the world and all generations too. And this is how we can grow the river cruise market. I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation that us coming into this very saturated space with some really good suppliers that are all delivering a quality experience for your clients on the rivers, for us to come into there and to try to take shares away from them, it doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit you, your clients, or the river cruise market more broadly. We want to grow the pie, and the way that we can do that is by creating experiences that are more suited to maybe to guests that have never considered a river cruise. For example, ultra luxury ocean cruise guests like Regent, Silversea, Seabourn, Crystal. Now there's an equivalent experience for those guests on the rivers, or for non-cruisers, people that they have an ocean cruise, they have a river cruise, they like to travel by land, on land, and they love to stay at luxurious hotels like the Four Seasons, like the Ritz. Now there's an experience that's created and suitable for them to come and experience our luxurious floating hotels along some of Europe's most beautiful rivers, visiting a few places, and as part of something broader that they may be doing in Europe. Now, the same vibrant onboard experience is reflected on land through the excursions that we offer. Now, these are far beyond standard walking tours or panoramic coach drives. Our experiences are designed to immerse, to be immersive, to be personal, and deeply connected to each destination. So, culinary experiences such as French pastry masterclasses or Austrian baking workshops, even guided visits through some of Europe's most famous and celebrated markets with our chefs, visits to wineries, breweries, and local distilleries. Guests can spend time on working farms, at olive oil estates, in artisan workshops, including perfume making. They'll have access to palaces, castles, fortresses, cathedrals, abbeys, and a wide range of different museums. Even private visits into homes where they'll meet local families and even royalty. They'll have opportunities to explore the countryside. There are active excursions, active options, so many different active excursions, from hiking up to castle ruins or through vineyards, biking excursions, even kayaking experiences. We've got high-tech multimedia experiences that blend music, performing arts, architecture, and technology. And there's some really cool experiences as well that you just won't see in other river cruise brochures. Things like a privately chauffeured vintage Volkswagen hippie van tour, which will take your clients, our guests, along the Moselle River to different viewing points. They'll visit a produce market, a castle, a winery, and this experience is for only 4 guests per vehicle. I mean, how cool is that? As I mentioned, a lot of active experiences up to castles, offering incredible and breathtaking views through vineyards that lead our guests into cellars where they get to enjoy some exclusive wines. Biking excursions along the rivers as well. We have wine safaris along the Rhine River that will take again, 4 guests per vehicle in a Land Rover to 6 different wineries. We'll set up a beautiful picnic halfway through as well so that they enjoy some local delicacies along with some of the regional wines that they'll be experiencing here. Truffle farms in the south of France, where they'll learn about the industry, where they'll see how they're cultivated. They'll see the dogs go out and hunt for them. And then, of course, they'll get to eat a lot of different varietals of truffles paired with some wines from this region as well. And then at the far end of our active excursion spectrum are our kayaking experiences, which we have on the Danube and in the south of France, on the River Gardon, which is offered on our itineraries through between Lyon and Avignon. And we'll take our guests right underneath the Pont de Garde for the most incredible vantage point of that incredible piece of architecture that goes back to the medieval times. In Cologne, one of many, many choices is a time traveler's experience, which will take our guests to all the historic and iconic landmarks of the city. But in between, they're going to be wearing 3D virtual glasses so that they get to see the way that the city evolved over the centuries, starting off as a Roman establishment, then as a medieval town. They'll see the city pre-war and post-war with all the destruction, as well as the modern city that it is today. We have a similar virtual reality experience in Amsterdam, which follows the final 600 meters that Anne Frank and her family took before going into hiding in the secret annex. And through virtual reality, we place our guests inside that secret annex the way that Anne and her family would have lived during those 2 years. It's an incredible perspective of that piece of history. We have street art tours in Lyon. We're visiting graffiti museums in Amsterdam. I mean, I could go on and on about the itineraries and about our excursions, but I hope that through these examples, and again, there are so many others, that you see how different and interesting ours are and how that same vibrant onboard experience is reflected on land with these types of experiences that we offer. And I haven't even mentioned anything about our signature events yet, which are all included. There are no extra costs. They're all included. So in the south of France, to give you an example, a visit to the Châteauneuf-du-Pape castle ruins, which is followed by an exclusive private VIP tasting of the renowned wines from the Châteauneuf-du-Pape village. On the Danube, we take our guests to the Belvedere Palace, not just any time of the day, but after hours when it's closed to the public. That's when our guests go inside for an exclusive VIP tour of the beautiful palace with all of the artwork there without any of the crowds. We host our guests to a champagne reception followed by a classical music concert, just for the Riverside guests inside the marble hall of the Belvedere Palace. I mean, what an incredible experience. Something we have these signature events, as I mentioned, on every sailing. Just like our ships are one of a kind and our itineraries are unique, so too is our pricing structure. Now, if you were to book clients with any other river cruise line, your clients, they're all going to pay a different amount, but they're all going to have the same inclusions and the same onboard experience. Our pricing structure is unique in that it's flexible and can be adjusted according to your client's preferences. If you have clients that want the all-inclusive experience with all the meals, with a premium open bar, all the excursions, then you can book them. Book them that way. If you have clients that want to go on a river cruise, but they don't want to pay for things that they're not going to enjoy or even use, for example, if they don't drink, well, you can take out the beverage component. They still get all the meals. They still get every single excursion. They just would pay for the beverages that they've consumed. You can do the same with the excursion. So if you have clients that want to enjoy the fine wines, the craft beers, the botanical cocktails that we offer, but maybe they don't want to do all of our excursions the full excursions program. Maybe they just want to select one or two instead of paying for the full, and it's a very extensive program at that. I mean, your clients can be doing 3 excursions per day, depending on the itinerary and the ports that we're visiting. All of the excursions are included. So if they don't want to commit to the full program, you can just book the excursions a la carte as well. And finally, you can book your clients with only the meals and everything else available to your clients a la carte. The idea is for your clients to pay for the experience that they're going to most enjoy. Regardless, things like port charges, gratuities, transfers, round-trip transfers, those are always included for every guest, regardless of what else they're booking, okay? And so therefore, for you, that means no NCFs, and you're earning your full commission on the package that you're booking your clients into. We've got a lot of promos in the market. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because all of these are reflected on our consumer website, on our travel advisor portal. I will just reiterate the incentive for all of you for joining today's training, today's presentation about Riverside. On your first Riverside booking for your clients, they're going to earn €100 onboard credit per person, okay, on any sailing. So once you've made your first booking, email me. I'll give you my contact information at the end. Email me and I'll apply the added value on of the onboard credit. Single supplement is waived on all sailings in 2026 and 2027. I know there's a question about our solo program, so I'll answer it before the end. But yeah, we waived the single supplement, which is fantastic. And there's a really useful tool for you to introduce Riverside to your clients. We've partnered with Approach Guides, which gives you free co-branded content in the form of social media, e-newsletters, even a co-branded website. It's super easy for you all to use. You just sign up, add in your contact information, choose the content that you want to share with your clients, put in their email address, contact information. You can post it online, send it off to them. All the leads come back directly to you. So that QR code will take you directly to our content on Approach Guides, but I'm happy to help as well. Super easy tool to use and a great resource for you. So I hope that you're all excited about Riverside. The season is just starting off in a week's time. If this was the first time that you're learning about Riverside, thank you for taking the time to learn about a new product. And I hope that, as I say, that you're excited to present and introduce us to your potential clients. If you know about Riverside already, I hope that this has been a reminder of all of the great things that we're offering and the fresh and different approach to the river cruise experience. I would love to get to your questions, so I'm going to leave this slide on for a little bit longer. If you want to take down my contact information, our reservations information as well, that QR code will take you to our Facebook group if you want to stay in touch and see what's going on there. But with that, love to have a chat with you, Paige, and get to all those great questions that we received during the registration. And hopefully there's some new questions that we can address as well.
maybe we'll start with some of the questions that we received in the registration before we kind of go into the questions from the chat. So I'm going to start here. I have a question from Jenny. This is a two-part question. So first part is, who do you feel is the best fit for Riverside, and where do you feel you stand apart most clearly from the other luxury river cruise lines?
Who's the most the best fit? You know what? I really think that those two markets that I mentioned, the ultra luxury ocean cruise guest that has sailed with Regent, with Silversea, with Seabourn, with Crystal, I think they would love a Riverside experience. And I also think that the non-cruisers, those guests, those travelers that love to stay at beautiful hotels, they love to travel by land because of our modular and shorter itineraries, those can be incorporated into their broader travel itinerary, where they can experience some of these beautiful little cities along the rivers while staying in the most luxurious floating hotel that that they'll be able to experience. So really, those are the two kind of target markets that advisors should be considering us for their clients. And what was the second part of that question, Paige?
Great. So the second part was, could you clarify what is included and what is extra, particularly when it comes to excursions, transfers, dining experiences, and suite level inclusions?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the inclusions, we've got the different packages. I would say in the Canadian market, people are booking the all-inclusive option, which includes everything. All the meals, a premium open bar. We welcome your clients with a bottle of champagne, a fully stocked mini bar that's replenished as needed. All of the great cocktails, and we have some really cool botanical cocktails that our bartenders come up with. They're awesome. And then all of the excursions. There are no optional excursions if booked as an all-inclusive experience. And then things like port charges, gratuities, transfers, they're always included for every client. But again, I mean, if you have clients that don't drink, or maybe they don't want to do all of the excursions, then you've got options by booking them according to their preferences. So really, this is about eliminating any barriers to a booking, to a sale. You've got the ability to customize the experience for your clients by what is included. I hope that answers the question.
Wonderful. Okay, I kind of next question is from Linda. This is kind of a bit of a follow-up to that, but Linda says, would love to know the percentage of guests that book the basic rate, the excursion included rate, and the drinks included rate, and the full rate.
Yeah, I don't know the percentage specifically, but by far it's the all-inclusive experience that clients are booking. And then the second most popular package would be without the beverages, but almost every booking will include the excursions.
Wonderful.
And I mean, that makes sense. When you're going through, these beautiful places, you're going to want to do all of these awesome experiences. And, we've got some really cool things that we're doing. So our guests are certainly taking advantage of them.
Right. All right, next question is from Anik. It's kind of a three-part question, but first one is there an online training platform?
Yes. And we will share that link. Yep.
Wonderful. Is there a way for travel advisors to experience this cruise line?
Yes, we have really good TA rates that are available for 2026 and 2027. Once you've completed the online specialist training, you'll have access to those TA rates. And I would love to help anyone in booking their own personal Riverside experience with us. So we'll follow up with all of our contact information, and I'd love to help anyone get on board and experience Riverside.
Perfect. Okay. I had a question in the chat as well that just came up that maybe we can answer now, Peter, about the drinks package. So I have one from Ravina here that says, can you clarify if someone does not do the drinks inclusion? Are they paying for water, sparkling water, coffee, tea, or are the basics always included for everyone?
Yeah, so I mean, think of it like an ocean cruise. If you're not booking us with the beverage package, then water, coffee, and tea would only be included, and all other beverages will be at an additional cost.
Perfect. Great. All right. So I think our next question here is from Donovan that says, what promotions do you have for solo travelers?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have the best promotion that can be for a solo traveler, which is that we waive the single supplement entirely. It's available on all sailings until the end of 2027. We just don't have the product available for 2028. The only caveat is that the promotion is capacity controlled. So if your clients are booking ahead, which I know that they would be, you should be able to find availability for the single supplement waiver.
Perfect. All right, next question is from Betsy, and this is a two-part question as well. So first part is, which itinerary would you recommend to first-time river cruisers? And what time of the year has a balance between low crowds and decent weather?
So for first timers on a river cruise, generally it's the Rhine between Amsterdam and Basel that is the most popular. I think the same is true for all river cruise brands. The Danube, probably a very close second between Budapest and Passau. In terms of when, there's never a bad time to go on a river cruise. You're just seeing all of these beautiful places in a different season in a different way. Generally speaking, though, I mean, if your clients are hoping to avoid crowds in some of these cities that we're visiting, early spring, great time to go. Fewer crowds, cooler weather, airfare is better as well, and then late fall, mid October. Wonderful time to go as well. Christmas markets. I mean, I didn't mention anything on the Christmas markets, but the Christmas markets are a great time. I mean, I know they're very popular and people will travel for those, but that's just a beautiful time of year to go to Europe and on a river cruise. And we've got space on our Christmas market cruises this year as well.
Fantastic. Okay. Next question from Sue is, will there be any more ships added to the fleet in the near future?
Yeah, so we have all 5 of Christo's river ships. Only 3 are in operation until 2027. And then in the 2028 season, we'll be bringing back ship number 4. And then in 2029, we'll have the 5th ship returned back to the fleet.
Wonderful. All right, a few questions from Kathy. Any specialty themed cruises or groups?
Groups, yeah, we book groups. Our program that you need 10 to 10 guests is the minimum threshold for groups. Once you reach 12 guests, then you start to get things like private cocktail reception, private excursion, onboard credit for the group. But 10 is the minimum to earn a TC. In terms of specialty themed cruises, we're starting to dip our toes into those. We have a golf themed river cruise on the Danube, which visits some of Central Europe's most historic and just best golf courses. There's got 4 different outings, all included as part of the experience. So there's the golf cruise. We have a very cool beer themed sailing, which is on the Rhine between Amsterdam and Basel. We'll have an expert beer sommelier travel with us throughout the whole time, and we'll be visiting some really cool places, drinking a lot of great beers, and having some great conversations about the different beers and the history of beers in Europe and how they're made and what they're made and traditions and all of that good stuff. And then we have some sailings that they're not themed sailings, but they are over some really cool experiences. So, for example, on the Rhine in the summer, there's the Rhine on Flames festival. So a lot of river cruise lines are actually involved in that. But what happens along the Rhine Gorge is during the summer months, on a weekly basis, there's a fireworks spectacle like you've not seen. I mean, you can just imagine the fireworks with the castles beneath them along these beautiful little stretches of the river, just spectacular. So we have a couple of departures that fall over the Rhine on Flames Festival. And also we have a couple of sailings that coincide with the Hungarian National Day of Independence, which, I mean, talking about fireworks, seeing the beautiful city in the evening with the Parliament building lit up, and then you've got all of those fireworks and you're enjoying champagne from the, from the ship looking out to the, it's incredible. So there's a couple of dates, a couple of sailings that fall over really cool events.
Wow, amazing. Great. So I think next question from Shai. What are 3 unique factors that will arm me to switch clients to this luxury cruise?
I really don't want any advisors to be switching their loyal river cruise clients over to us. Let's go out and find some new clients, some new guests that have never considered a river cruise. Let's bring them on board and let those people be the Riverside guests. And I mean, I would love to help guide anyone in doing that and positioning us to those clients to come over and experience what river cruising is with Riverside.
Wonderful. Great. Next question from Valerie. What is the best way to start a group with Riverside?
Best way, I mean, it's pretty easy. We find if you have a sailing in mind, an itinerary that you'd love to set a group up on, I can work with you in finding a date that will have the most availability. We set the group aside. We require for groups, this is planning for groups 11 months and more out, which is kind of the timeline that you want to be working with. We require a $500 deposit per suite to give you that space exclusively to you. And that $500 deposit is fully refundable until 11 months prior to departure. Once we've set up the group, we've got the space held and locked in for you. I can help with the marketing assets that you need. And we go out there and, we start promoting it. And that's kind of pretty straightforward.
Wonderful. All right, next question from both Michael and Neil. Are you offering travel advisor fam rates for 2026 cruises? Yep.
So we've got the TA rates, they're available. I will say for 2026, they're starting to become a bit more limited because those are the TA rates. They're available on every sailing up to 7 nights, but they are also capacity controlled, just like the single supplement waiver. So there's still availability for 2026, limited availability, and then for 2027, it's more widely available.
Perfect. All right, next question from Monica. Do you offer pre-post stays?
No, we are strictly cruise only. We have an air partner, Regal Wings, that will handle the air for travel advisors. They are B2B with an air concierge team, really great service. And then on the land side, we recommend and have partnered with Kensington Tours to create custom pre and post extensions. I mean, if advisors have their own partners that they work with, preferred hotels, DMCs, they certainly can. The great thing is, when it comes to transfers, for example, which I know can be, it often comes up, how their clients will get on board the ship. We'll pick your clients up from the airport, from the closest major airport. we'll pick them up from their hotel. If they're coming in a couple of days before, we'll have one of our nice Mercedes, a nice sedan, suited man come pick up your clients from their hotel lobby, take them over to the ship where they're greeted with a glass of champagne, and then the butler takes them to the suite and unpacks for them, and then the magic continues. So we don't have, that's a really, really long answer to the question, but strictly cruise only. But outside of that, all the logistics are, will be taken care of.
Wonderful. And I see that Neil had a follow-up question about the TA rates. And they were wondering, where do you find the TA rates?
I hold the keys to the TA rates. So Neil, once we've completed the online specialist training, I will help you book those.
Wonderful. And like I mentioned, we'll be including those links in the email to everyone with the link to the recording of this session as well.
Great.
Perfect. Okay. Next question from Randy. How do you compare in-guest experience to the old Crystal River cruises?
The guest experience, yeah, I mean, we're not a continuation of Crystal. I've personally not sailed with Crystal when they were on the rivers. Our approach to the guest experience is high touch, low ego. That's really the way we approach our guests. We really wanted the experience to feel very personalized, very individual, rather than kind of as a group dynamic. Ours is much more personal, very intuitive. I mean, our team members, if you won't see them until you need them, and they're very good at just anticipating the needs of the guests without feeling that they're on top of them and that they're intrusive or anything like that. So the way that we describe it is high touch, low ego.
Wonderful. Awesome. Next question is from Greg. Greg says, what motivated you to choose a career in the travel trade?
Greg, great question. Thank you for the question. There was no motivation in me getting into the travel industry. Over 20 years ago now. I wanted to be a chef. I was working at a restaurant, a couple of restaurants in Banff when I got out of hospitality and tourism in George Brown College. I wanted to be a chef, and my family did not see that, so they suggested that I try something else. And because I had the hospitality and tourism experience, I started working at a travel agency, Marlin Travel, in Toronto at Fairview Mall, I think it was. And then after a year there, Globus Family of Brands was hiring an inside sales consultant position, which I applied to, stayed with Globus as an inside sales and a business development manager for over 17 years before this opportunity with Riverside came in. So I fell into the travel industry, and obviously, like all of us in it, have never looked back, and just love working in the travel industry.
Absolutely. Thanks, Greg. That was a great question. I think we'll close it out for the registrant questions. The last one will be from Ravina. Ravina says, do you have cruises over 7 days that are not repetitive? Many of my clients like longer cruises.
Yeah, no, absolutely we do. Up to 20-night cruises. And, even though I described the modular nature of the itineraries and how they're shorter and can be combined and extended, even if we're going, so an easy example to kind of answer that question is on the Danube between Budapest and Passau. That's a 7-night cruise. If people wanted to do 14 nights on the Danube, even though they're sailing on the same river, all of the places that they're going in one direction are going to be different when they're going back in the other direction. So it's the same river, the same beautiful views that guests can enjoy twice, with different ports in different cities along the way for 14 nights. It's a really unique setup for the itineraries, intended for guests to stay on board longer without having to repeat. I mean, nobody wants to repeat the same places, and that's the way that our itineraries are set up.
Wonderful. Great. All right. So if anyone else has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. But I did see one question from Ellen. Ellen says that they missed the answer about the specials for singles.
No single supplement. So the single supplement is waived completely. It's on all sailings through the end of 2027, but it's capacity controlled.
Great. All right. Perfect. So I think we'll wrap up the questions. I don't see any more here. And Peter, do you have any kind of last words to say before I wrap up the webinar?
No, just another, thank you again to everyone for attending, for following our journey along the way, for where we're going into our fourth season, and we would not be where we're at without the support of the travel advisors across Canada. So I'm just very grateful for all of you embracing the brand. The ships have their affinity, but the brand is new, the experience is different, and I love the fact that everyone has just embraced Riverside and has helped us reach where we are today. And I mean, a shout out to Baxter as well. You are very much part of our history and our journey along the way, and I so appreciate your support and partnership throughout, and look forward to continuing on.
So with that, why don't we wrap things up? Thank you again to Peter, and thank you everyone for being here today.
Thanks, Paige. Thank you, everyone.